Hello. Hey, everybody. Good to see everybody in the chat. Welcome to all the members that are here as well. Great to see you there. Big thank you to the mods today. I know Nancy's here and Dip Me in Glitter. So we're going to go through a lot of stuff today. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we talk about the Scientology news that has the internet buzzing. We also talk about my what would we talk about? I'm still jet lagged. 3 generations of my family in Scientology, and we left after 35 years. Now, make sure when you hit the subscribe button that you set your notification bell because I do interviews throughout the week too. So you can just catch me when I go live. Oh, goodness. We are going to touch on some news. There is a channel that's been talking Lisa Marie Presley, Michael Jackson, news from before, and things that are starting to come out, and people are speculating and wondering. So, of course, we're going to chat about it. Protest news. We're going to talk about what happened to DOA yesterday in Los Angeles. That was crazy. That and so much more. Everybody who's over here already, could you please go ahead and hit that like button while you're here? I'd appreciate that so we can make it rain notifications. Hey, Liz Ferris, good to see you here. You taking a break from Pearl Fest? I've been watching. Got some clips to go over from that as well because that's happening in Austin. So let's jump into this stuff, people. Let's jump into it. So I was telling you do you guys follow That Surprise Witness TV? I love her. I was watching her content before even I came on YouTube. She did a video, and again, it's That Surprise Witness TV. This was just like a day or so ago, and she does like these investigations and looks into things. And she was looking into the whole Lisa Marie Presley being married to Michael Jackson. Was Michael Jackson targeted by Scientology? Did Scientology have anything to do with not just the marriage itself, but the divorce? So we are going to take a look at that. Hey, Blow Drill. Good to see you, Dylan. Good morning from Colorado and happy Saturday. Yes, it is. It is. So let's take a look at this. We're going to look at a couple clips from this. This is the first one. Listen to this.
Speculation theory. It says, but another possibility is circulating among the conspiracy-minded former members of the Church of Scientology. It's an astounding theory that the church itself helped arrange the Presley-Jackson union. But these defectors say nothing about Scientology would astound them. Quote, Scientology has been known to tell people to get divorced or married for public relations purposes. That's very interesting.
Yeah, not a surprise though, right? So we're going to look at another clip from this. But here's the deal. I want you guys to tell me in the chat, if you're catching this on the replay, jump into those comments and tell me, do you think this marriage was, let's say, heavily encouraged maybe by Scientology for this union to happen? So let's take a look at this next part here because she just gets into it even more. It's like all the tea over here. I just love her channel. Links down below to all the videos that we're going to be going over today so you can go watch them in full.
Previously selected Jackson for recruitment. And in the words of this former celebrity handler guy, they used Lisa Marie Presley as, quote, the bait. Quote, stars are heavily recruited, and you can be sure that Michael Jackson was targeted, says one ex-Scientologist who worked at the Celebrity Center. So they did reach out for comment to a spokesperson from the Church of Scientology, who is it, Karen Pugh or Powell or something. And Karen said any conspiracy theory that this was arranged marriage is, quote, a complete fabrication. What makes Jackson a prime candidate for recruitment, say the church's critics, is his vulnerability. Now listen to this, y'all. His career is diminished and he remains under suspicion of child bleep, and he has recently been in drug rehab. Quote, this is a person whose life is in turmoil.
That was a really good point as well. He was in a very vulnerable position at the time. And it sounds like in the comments, you guys think so too. Neuropsych, I think his mom was a Jehovah's Witness, not Mormon, right? Does that sound right, you guys? Wasn't the Jackson family Jehovah's Witnesses? Tell me if I'm wrong, though. Tell me in the comments. Tell us in the chat. And you saw Blow Drill's comment, landing Michael Jackson would have been epic for Scientology. And that is true. So it just things that make you go, yep, neuropsych. There is also the money aspect too, right? Kelly Copter. Kelly, we're going to look at a clip from your protesting in London. I can't wait to talk to you about it. Okay, so they were Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm seeing that in the chat. Okay, so a little bit more on this, and then let's discuss it more. I love when she does these deep dives.
Came out. And it says, from beyond the grave, Lisa Marie Presley blames Scientology for orchestrating divorce from Michael Jackson. I didn't want to leave him. Lisa Marie Presley, who had at that point passed away, allegedly claimed the Church of Scientology played a big role in her divorce from ex-husband Michael Jackson in the years before her death. The only child of Elvis got married to the King of Pop in 1994, but they called it quits just 2 years later in 1996. Citing irreconcilable differences as the reason for their split. She would be present for some of the most turbulent times in Michael Jackson's life when he was accused of child bleep. Allegations Lisa Marie shut down in an unearthed interview with Tony Ortega, which was shared in a new blog post via the Underground Bunker. Bleep around little boys? Dude, you think I'd be with someone if I witnessed that? Lisa Marie allegedly said. She alluded that busy schedules and other issues put a damper on their union, telling Rolling Stone in 2003 that she had just had enough. Okay.
Interesting. So let's see what you guys are saying here. Liz Ferris, thank you so much for making it rain. Scientology Life After Occult memberships. Thank you so much, Liz. Let's see. Yeah, it's so interesting. I think she's going to be looking more and more into it. Go check out the whole video because it was really interesting the way that she lays out the whole timeline and does a bit of that deep dive. Hey, Aaron, got to get my recap fix. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Aaron. Thank you for being here. We're getting into it. There's some massively hot topics today. Massively hot topics. So I have always wondered about this Lisa Marie Presley, Michael Jackson connection and the role that Scientology played into it. And I can't say that I'm 110% convinced, but based on the behavior of Scientology, the role that they play in not just bringing marriages together, but in breaking them up, it would be on brand. It absolutely would be on brand. And I've even spoken to people who worked around that area back in the day for like a celebrity center around the president's office handles the celebrities who did feel that that was encouraged. And Michael Jackson was absolutely targeted by Scientology, as were many others. So I think we're going to be hearing more of that. I love that she's doing that deep dive there. Now, let's go over to L. Ron Hubbard Way and let's talk about what happened with DOA yesterday. Did you guys see it? If you didn't, you're about to hear about it because that was just, I don't even know how to describe it. But first, let's back up a little bit. So DOA met the guy who was doing the pressure washing. He pulled up on L. Ron Hubbard Way with this massive pressure washer. It actually was kind of a cool setup, and DOA went over and Scotty introduced himself.
That's nice. I'd like to do that with an IBC tote sometime. Nice little battery. So, yeah, my name's Scotty. I'm known as DOA, and we're looking for Laura's father, Phil Anderson. And you are loved. And yeah, you should be retired right now, man. You know, I'm getting threats to my family, though. That's good. That's what it's about. Threats to my family, because I'm here asking questions.
So this looks like another Sea Org member who comes over. I don't know if he's in security or not, or he's in the estates organization. So in the Sea Org, there is the organization that handles basically like the buildings and takes care of the ground and provides the food and all of that. Pacific Base Crew is what they're called. That's where I worked in the Sea organization. I always joke that I think I'm the first person to ever join the Sea Org in the estates organization, where everybody else in there got busted from a higher level and as punishment sat there. sent there, but that's where I started out because I just wanted to keep my head down and my nose clean and not end up on the rehabilitation project force. And I figured that was a good bet starting there. But so I guess that guy, the one who came over, they could be part of of that, that estate organization is what I'm wondering. They always carried radios and he didn't look like he was security. So now I wonder if this is part of their job to go out there and do the pressure washing to get rid of the chalk. But wish I could have seen the other guy's face because I wonder if I knew him from before. All right, we are going to take a look. Before we jump into the clips from what happened with DOA, let's look at a little bit something from Scientology themselves, which shows us who one of the men are who were involved in this. And his name is David Sanchez. Scientology does this Voices for Humanity series. And this is a little clip on David Sanchez and what he does with the Foundation for a Drug-Free World, which, let's not forget, is a front group for Scientology. Their headquarters are in the Scientology Management Building off of Hollywood Boulevard. You can look it up on Google. It gives the address and everything. Plus, I had my own personal experience with them back in the day when I was a Scientologist and thought it would be an opportunity to promote the foundation and raise awareness about drug abuse, and didn't exactly go that way with them. They more wanted to sell me Scientology books when I would reach out to them to try to get help. So I'm not buying it. What we do know is Scientology will stage things to use it in their propaganda videos. And this is just what that is. But it identifies the guy who we're going to see in the DOA assault video. Take a look at this.
We're in a battle. We're in a fight. There's more drug dealers and more drugs out there than we can handle. But do we give up the fight because of that? No. I knew that I had to find a way to educate people.
So this guy, you see him there? Keep that image in mind. So on L. Ron Hubbard Way, Scotty DOA was setting up to do what he does, which is feed the protesters and also feed the homeless that are around there. He's getting all set up. And over in that patio area that Scientology has, you see these guys sitting there, just watching them, right? Minding their own business, maybe not. Obviously looking over at them. And you can see there's 3 of them there, and there's one more right here. Actually, 1, 2, who's that back there? 3, 4, 5, 4. Oh, okay. That looks like a Sea Org member in the background. But they're watching DOA. They're talking. They're chatting. You're just like, what's happening here, right? Almost look like they're listening to music, smoking some cigarettes. That's the guy who was in the Scientology video. Then this guy right here with that crossbody on, he's gonna come in. You're gonna see what he does later. They're all together. They're walking off. They totally look sus. Farah, you were totally right. And keep in mind, they're on Scientology's property. This is not open to the public in general. If they're there, it's because Scientology wants them there. They're throwing away their stuff, right? Then it gets really weird. They go into position. You got DOA all set up here, right? So we're just going to stand here just randomly. Just 3 guys standing outside a barbecue, right? Nothing to see here. Just very odd, right? Nothing's going to happen. Boom. That's the other guy who was there sitting with them. He just walks off. These guys act like they have no idea what happened. Tell me in the chat, tell me in the comments, what do you think they were there for? Why were 3 of them there while the one guy knocks all of them down? Was this some type of potential damage control if something happened and things got, out of hand or got physical? We know they just weren't just so happened to be standing there. They were sitting on Scientology's property, then came over. And the guy who was just sitting on Scientology's property went over and knocked all that stuff over. So what happens next, you ask? They go back into the Scientology building. This is the thing. Scientology is not even trying to hide the fact that they are connected to Scientology and doing this on their behalf. They're not even trying to hide it. There's no like, hey, show up later, not in front of the building, and then, take off afterwards, like they've done before with other paid agitators trying to cause trouble for the protesters. Here it is. They're just going and they're going to walk right back into the building. And again, you don't go over there unless you're a Scientologist. You're there with a Scientologist. It just doesn't happen. Somebody random from the public is not going to be allowed out there. There's another Sea Org member. These guys are just going back in like nothing happened. Just sauntering away. Yeah, they don't need to hide. Not at all. Yep, totally Jersey. They don't need to hide. Hold on, this is not, there we go. They don't need to hide. They know nothing will happen to them. Exactly. It took the police, 45 minutes to show up? Not much of a big surprise there. This is probably one of the more bold moves I think Scientology has made in terms of harassment and assaulting the protesters. Because like I said, they're not even trying to hide the connection. It was just so blatantly and obviously there, which I got to say kind of surprises me a little bit. They've tried different things to intimidate the protesters. We've seen it all play out since last year. But this was like, this was next level. Hey, Laura FM, good to see you there. You're probably still out there at Pearl Fest. We're going to look at a couple videos coming up. Melody says, DOA is such a kind-hearted man. I'm worried about him. Yeah, I think, didn't he mention he was going to he takes a break here and there, which is really good. You got to do that. And maybe, I think he might be taking another break. Confident Chris's finger. Thank you for that. Cop mocked Jay and said, don't get arrested again. When the police came out, yeah, exactly. Jeffy says they don't have to hide. Decide they also work with LAPD. You got to wonder, because how do you get away with that? How are you so bold that is what you are going to do? And okay, in what world does this accomplish anything? Here's what I don't get. Maybe somebody can explain this to me. Scientology has done many things to harass the protesters, from having them arrested for days to outright assault, all these things. None of it results in, Scotty didn't go, oh, all right, well, you know what? I'm out. In fact, it creates the opposite effect. We're going to look at a clip coming up of Jay talking specifically about that, on how he's more determined than ever to be there. And now will probably be extending his trip in Los Angeles. Whereas before he was going to leave after about a month. Now he's going to be there longer. So if Scientology is trying to get rid of people like Jay and get them out of there, why do you do things that just basically fuel the fire? Why do you do things like that? Yep, Brenda, that's right. Tori was there. Tori came to the scene fast to check on DOA, which was absolutely fabulous. And Daisy says, yep, you're right, Natalie. It just makes us more determined. And how do you not know that or see that? I mean, just go back in history, right? When you poke the bear like that, it usually strengthens someone's resolve, because you're kind of making their point, especially when you're playing dirty like that, like Scientology does. Why? Because they have no way. One, it's against their own policy to defend themselves. And really, how do you defend yourselves against human rights abuses? Like, let's just start there, right? There's many things that they do, but that alone, it's just, they can't. That's why they never defend, always attack, because that's what L. Ron Hubbard said to do. So they went and got things cleaned up, got things set up again, and got back to feeding people.
I'm gonna cover my phone here. So
Mas?
I don't like putting the camera on the people, guys. So normally I will turn it over.
Where's the trash at? Right there.
So exacto, I can. ¿Cómo está, oiga? ¿Y a quién trajo? Ay, mucho gusto. Ay, mire, ¿sabe qué? Traje nopales. ¿No le dije que iba a traer nopales? Mire.
Just back there feeding people. So DOA did talk to Jay And like I was saying, Jay shared that it just strengthens his resolve.
Did it make you want to come out here more or less, or
man,
what?
Honestly, I didn't want to seem crazy and come out that same night that it happened. So I just kind of ducked out that evening. But I really did in my heart want to come out that same night, do the security stream. It really didn't deter me. Definitely, now they're trying to scare me off, right? Essentially, with doing the PPA, having me go for the ride. But now I'm here for sure till the 31st.
Yeah, well, that's what.
When I go on the 31st, I'm going to plead not guilty, right? Obviously, because I'm not guilty of what they're saying. And that's going to just, another court date for to push for discovery and evidence and all that stuff. So they pretty much made it to where I'm going to be here longer by their own hands.
Yeah.
Which I welcome, because I was trying to find reasons like
Not to be here.
because I like it a little bit too much. You know what I mean? So the action is.
Yeah, Jay was saying he was going to head out after a month, but not now. Not now, Scientology. You're going to have them a bit more. Scientology up north, thank you for that. Hey, Natalie, have you checked us crashing a Sea Org Beach wedding today in Denmark? I did. I got down to a certain point on setting up for today, but I'm saving it for, I think I'll be able to hopefully share that tomorrow. But thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Danny, hey, Danny, good morning. We need a lot more people out there. So if you're in the LA area, anywhere near Hollywood, and you would like to join the protest, by all means, get on out there. Lots of people there. They can always use more. Dr. Who Heather, love he's representing our home state, Colorado, with his hoodie. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. All right. So that whole thing, just it's like, I feel like I still need to process. It's pretty obvious as to what happened, but you'll notice we talked about this. In fact, we talked about this here on the channel when I was still in Hawaii, that there's been a change in tactics by Scientology. They're getting a bit more aggressive. They sent Sean and Galena out and some other security guards when Lara FM was out there. Odo was out there and she was giving him the business. It's just a little bit different. And I had said then they are up to something. They don't put Sea Org members in front of people for no reason. They usually try to hide them away. And it does seem that like they are trying and failing to take this more aggressive stance. And it's just going to backfire more and more. It's like they don't get how the internet works. This is being live streamed. It is being seen over and over and over again. It's, you don't think this is being caught on camera? That's the disconnect for me. Like, do you just not care so much that that it has the potential of millions of people seeing this, seeing them walk out of Scientology, do what they did and walk back into the Scientology building? This guy is being touted by Scientology as this hero working with the foundation, the drug-free foundation, Scientology's front group. And then you put him, now he's in a video with this. So how's that side by side Scientology? Do you see how that's going to look? The positioning there? Yeah, it's a real big fail. Efila, Natalie, do you think it's Sean that's doing the more obvious and aggressive tactics? I don't know who's calling the shots in there, honestly. Security, Scientology's OSA, I don't know specifically, but somebody is for sure. But you know what? If Sean Angelina shows up, just remind him that Natalie Webster changes diapers. That seems to make him go back in the building. I'm still hoping he'll leave because, he comes from a good family. When I knew his parents back in the day, I cannot see them, if he decided to leave, not going with him, to be honest. We'll just kind of have to see what happens. Hey, Dewey, thanks for being here. Yes, last night was huge. That was, it just next level. If you can, DOA, why don't you jump in? I'll put a link for you here. And then after I get through a few clips, if you can, pop on in and let's chat a little bit about it. I'm just going to cover a few more things here. And I agree, big fail on their part. So there's a link for you in the comments if you can make it. Pixie, we shared the Sloan video yesterday. Unless he did a new one. I loved it so much. I think it was blind item number 2. I think it was. Does it matter to you, not to me? Thank you so much for the super chat. I agree, Danny. We need everyone local and out of towners on site. Safety in numbers, more cams, more angles. We need to protect each other. I agree. It is a good time. It is a very good time to not be out there alone by yourself. They are applying bully tech. They are. They absolutely are. Hey, I wonder if Liz Ferris would share a bit with us about Pearl Fest when we get to that part in the video. What do you think, Liz? Okay, good. So I'm going to pull you up when we get to that part there. All right. So I love this next clip. I just love this. These are posters going up of people missing in Scientology. This is MD Media 18. I want to say this is right. Is this over by the hospital? But check this out. Missing in Scientology, and that's Emily Jones, who's the daughter of Phil Jones, who was involved with putting up the billboard. He was protesting in Canada with PTS for Life and others. Recently, we covered that. But yeah, these posters are great. Missing in Scientology. Him and his wife are both wondering where their children are, son and daughter, in the theory, cut ties with their parents over a decade ago. They never heard from them again. This is one of the reasons why Scientology does not want Sea Org members to be on video or on camera, because their family members go, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, what? They recognize them. And then they might have questions. Hey, Saul Goodman. Welcome. All right. So let's see here. That was just fantastic. So let's look at Jessica Palmadessa did a short. This is great, where she's talking about basically showing how desperate Scientology is to not have people see what they're doing. They've got new, I don't know, maybe you'd call it fence tech going on. Check this out. This is all around that outer part of the blue buildings. You can't even see the parking lot.
All right, so we got the whole wall up, as you can see. It goes all the way around. Jesus, they literally put it everywhere. They bought these walls off AliExpress.
Hey, what is this place right here? It's a cult! That's right.
All right, so we got the whole wall.
I mean, look at that. Just completely covered up there. And is it any wonder why they don't want people to see? Blow Drill makes an excellent point here. This is part of an overall data evaluation. This is now being executed. All the current info will be applied to the evaluation and new mission orders will be issued. Good point. So in the Sea organization, they do what they call these missions where they send Sea Org members out to execute whatever the plan is. But often first, you have to go and you have to find out information. So that could be all part of it. That is a great point, Blow Drill. That makes a ton of sense. Dina, thank you for being a member for a month. She says the protesters also need people who aren't filming or holding signs to watch everyone's back for safety and concerns. Yes, because even if you're not live streaming, you could still be there as a witness or videoing what's going on and see all of that from behind. So let's chat with Scotty real quick here and just kind of talk with him a bit of what happened. And then we're going to continue on with some other clips. So welcoming here, DOA. Scotty, good to see you. It's been a little while since we've chatted.
Yeah, good morning, Natalie.
Good morning. How are you doing since yesterday?
I'm doing good. I'm ready for a week off.
Good for you. Good for you. Take the time off when you need it because this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Absolutely. Especially after last night. It's scary that you can't defend yourself. I'm more afraid to defend myself because I'm afraid to go to jail. And that's a very scary thing, that the police won't come and do anything and I can't defend myself. So that puts you in a very odd situation.
Yeah, I can totally see that. It's very much this It's such a David and Goliath kind of a thing, because Scientology being the largest supporter of the LAPD, and so much of the LAPD working on their behalf. I totally get what you're saying. When you were there, when you were grilling and doing that and you saw the guys come out, what were you thinking at that moment?
That it was just too weird. Chris was like, "Oh, there's some gangbangers that were just parked in the parking lot." I heard him say that, and then he recorded that. He said that when he was leaving, he told me that. And then I saw them sitting in the cafe, and I was like, this is not, something just didn't feel right about the whole situation. So that's why I was filming them right before they attacked. And it's scary that it took 40 minutes for the police to come, and I had to say I was having a panic attack for the medics to come in order so that the police would come. And looking into that guy's, his relation, I mean, he's been to jail. He was a heroin user. He blames it on marijuana, which is like, it's like reefer madness. The neighbor made him smoke weed at 9 p.m. and that's why he turned into a heroin addict. And I'm not sure. I know a few people who smoked weed when they were 9 and they didn't turn into heroin addicts. But to see the pictures of all the police, there's a lot of pictures of him on Facebook with the police. So, I mean, and it felt like Grand Theft Auto, the video game. Like it was like a real gangbanger. Like it was like that Scientologist brought out the gangbangers. It was like, this is their next move, is gangbanging.
It is weird. We were just chatting about that, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. And Blow Drill made a good point about the COR, if they're using L. Ron Hubbard Scientology tactics, they gather information, they create a plan, and then they execute it. And then they will gather information again. It's just so bold, because we all know no one is on that street unless Scientology wants you there. They will try to get rid of you. So it was just so blatantly, yes, they're with us, we're allowing them to be here. And then they go back into the buildings. Tell me a little bit about what was happening when you spoke with the police when they came.
Well, I could see that they weren't going to do anything. And it's hard to, I really want to have a good rapport and a good relationship with the police. But at this point, it is next to impossible just to not call them pigs, because they're putting us in danger. They're putting us into a dangerous situation where someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Because they keep allowing these attacks and no repercussions for the attacks. And that's a very, very, very scary situation. And the officers, after they went and talked to the police, they came back and they weren't concerned about the 4 gangbangers. They weren't concerned about the truck being in there. The cops came back and they were worried about my van being parked in the loading zone. That's what they came back with. And then they came back 5 minutes later. The church called them for that there was hate speech being put down in chalk, and they came within 5 minutes for chalking. 40 minutes for an attack by 4 gangbangers and intimidation. It wasn't just it wasn't, nothing broke, but that was a very intimidating situation. And no one's intimidated. We're not fucking intimidated at all. And we're going to come back. And all that does is make us even want to come back more. And this week I'm taking off, but we're going to occupy that place now. We're going to stay there. We're going to have someone there 24/7. And we're going to just cook in the morning and cook at night. And the neighbors are loving the free food. And I think to think that somebody on a grill cooking corn dogs and French fries is a threat is insane.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world, it's not about us knowing stuff, and it's not about Scientology. It's the rest of the world watching, this guy's just cooking food. Now there's gangbangers. It wasn't even a Scientologist. They sent out Scientologist gangbangers, which I didn't even know Scientology had gangbangers. So that was a whole different look. But and to see that he is involved with the main drug program to stop marijuana. like that's what they're going after marijuana, which is like it's just funny and hilarious. And yeah, but I told the cop, I was like, someone's gonna die. Literally, you have Tori here who's 76. You can't have gangbangers going and pushing people over and messing with people when there's a 76-year-old. Someone's gonna get really, really hurt.
Yep, you're totally right. And I'm so glad that that's the part that just blows my mind. Like, they know it's being videotaped. Like, they feel so confident in themselves. But here's the thing that I think people need to remember about Scientology. We're talking about an organization that committed one of the largest infiltrations into the United States government in history. They infiltrated 136 government institutions. These people don't play, but they follow the same playbook, L. Ron Hubbard's playbook. I don't know if you saw the comment I put up earlier from Blow Drill, but he makes a good point. They want to isolate you as a target, find out what your buttons are, and push them. This is what they do. They gaslight people. So part of their data collection when they identify somebody as a potential threat or target is to find out what are their buttons, what do they react to, what might cause them to stop. Because the whole goal is to completely shut down that person by any means possible, which is what fair game is in Scientology. So one of the things, easier said than done sometimes, but I would, my two cents of advice sometimes for protesters is don't let them see a sweat. It's not a tactic that works either, because what they don't understand, even though Scientology tries to say that they're the experts on the human mind, they don't understand the human spirit. They don't understand love. They don't understand that this is being driven by something bigger. And even though things get heated at times, because there can be and there are strong emotions when certain things are done, and they should be, what they're missing is people out there who've never been in Scientology are driven now. Some might have shown up initially, for the fun and all that. And that's totally cool. Show up for the entertainment. I'm all for it. But learn about what's happening and become educated about that with Scientology. They don't count on that people are there who really feel and hear these stories, like from Laura FM with her dad and so on, Serge Delmar and so on and so on and so on. So it's just, I appreciate so much what all of you are doing. And I love too that you're feeding the homeless.
Yeah. And it's not just the homeless, it's everybody. Anybody could, it's community. Yeah. And like the neighbors are stopping by, the neighbors want to be involved. And like, I didn't think that doing that would be such a powerful thing, but truthfully it's the only thing. And because it shows us having fun and it shows us having community. And that's what Scientologists lack, is community. And every time these attacks happen, everyone comes and hangs out. Now we got food going, so everyone's sitting around eating, and we're all trauma bonding, however you want to call it. And with the chat, we're all trauma bonding to these, and we're getting super angry and upset, and that's forging this like super strong, like the sword has to like go into the flame and come out and put it in and cooled off, and put back into the flame and cooled off, and put back in the flame and cooled off, and eventually it becomes a very strong weapon. But that's kind of the process that we're going through, and I see that even with the cooking, how many people are helping, how many people are coming through, and even seeing like the Wendell thing, that all play out. That's been kind of like crazy with his stuff being in the parking garage, and then PJ Becky at the police station, and Wendell pops up over there, and she's afraid, but we're all afraid, but we're not scared to be there. And we're aware that and any of us could go into a cage, and just like Jay just was in a cage, and they pop me off and say that, it's a cite and release and that it's nothing. And then 2 days later, they put Jay in jail for 6 hours, 7 hours. Yeah. So the police are continuing to show how one-sided they are, and the people my views are going up. All of our views are all going up. And so more and more people are coming. And I think everyone who's helped and all the support, everyone's been just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head. Do you remember the last time they went at, well, one of the times, there's been many. What you were doing right before they really went at you is you were interviewing the different streamers. You were like bringing them up and introducing them to your audience and sharing. And I keep saying this, Scientology cannot stand. They are more threatened by community and people coming together and sharing than anything. They can handle hate. They can do hate all day. They can't handle compassion. They don't understand it. I know this because I was in Scientology for 35 years. I didn't understand the power of that until I left. And it makes so much sense to me now why they'll target you when you do things like that, feeding people, bringing people together, why they target Jay. Same thing, creating community, bringing people together. It is a huge button for them because even though a lot of them don't understand the power of that, they recognize and know that it's just going to continue to build something. Because even if some people who are protesting need, like yourself, need to take a break, other people are going to show up. This isn't going to die down. It just continues to grow. And what continues to make it grow is that purpose and that compassion and the reason for doing it. And you guys are great at making that known, which is why they go at you so hard.
Yeah, and now we have Matt coming all the time, MD Media, and Eric Rader, and now Denver Jay's there streaming, doing that 24-hour security stream, which I think a lot of people really appreciate that. Just to someone sent me an email with all the different faces that crossed that camera that came out of that hotel across the street. And I think that's just great. And if we get to the point to where we are occupying and we have someone there 24/7, I think it's just the more people that come, the more safety there is. Even if those gangsters come back, and they're going to come back, why wouldn't they come back? This guy has been in jail for 20 years. He was addicted to heroin. He's running the gangs like they're running with gangs. Those guys were gangbangers. There's no way to put it. And the public is going to see that. The public is going to see that the church hit them. And this is what I don't understand. Why would they park at Scientology building? They're so effing stupid. How stupid? I mean, but if that's what the intention, that the intention was to show us that they could do whatever they want, and not only can they do whatever they want, but the police are going to protect them. And so I don't know if it was just like being stupid or what. But for that, what's his name? Daniel. I forgot his name. For him to be in charge of the drug program for them.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It's really it's amazing. We couldn't have been attacked by anybody better, truthfully.
Yeah. They have part of the policy in Scientology when going after critics is to do what L. Ron Hubbard calls a noisy investigation. So they're not always trying to hide it. A lot of the times they want you to know because they believe that is part of the intimidation of what will shut people down. Early on, they tried to keep a bit of distance. They're trying different tactics, but all from the same playbook.
Well, since your little babysitter, your little dude that you babysat, Sean, since he's shown up, there has been a huge change in tactics.
Yeah.
And so, and we're hoping that we're going to get Odo out. I think Odo's. I think Laura did a great job the other day with Odo. And it was interesting to see how Sean, after that had happened with Odo, Sean basically had Odo go and pull down the flyers. That was like he showed emotion, so he had to go and pull down the flyers in front of all the cameras, which is the opposite of what they've been doing for the last 3-4 months.
Yeah,
they've been leaving the posters up, so that was a big change of play. And then also with the arrest of my arrest and then Jay's arrest for the bullhorn for disturbing a religious ceremony. There's like 6. I have 6 bullhorns in the mail right now, and so y'all need to come and blow the bullhorn, or even if you just come and blow the bullhorn and then leave. We're we're about to be engaged in some mass civil disobedience. Just parking on Ron Hubbard Way is a huge patriotic thing to do right now.
Absolutely. And I do agree. A lot of the comments you're saying right now that Laura did make an impact when she was sharing her story more. And think about Odo goes way back, even with Tori, when Tori first left. And that's impactful, So just keep it up. And
well, you guys had community yourselves in Scientology, and so this wouldn't work. The never ends are helping, but it's y'all who were in the church and have had those personal relationships with these people for 30 years, 40 years, and those are the people that are at the top of control in Scientology. You, Serge, all of you together know a couple people that are within Ononora. I know she saw somebody the other day, and so that's important, because I think that those personal relationships, eventually you have an ability to plant a seed that could grow later.
Yeah,
so thank you for having me on.
Yeah, the biggest reason why they excommunicate and declare us oppressive people, especially after we leave, I left, then they declared me, is so that Scientologists don't speak to us, that they aren't allowed to follow us on social media. If anytime they find out someone even connected, like it's me and someone's connected to me on social media who's connected to a Scientologist, they try to shut it down, even if that person has no connection to Scientology. It's absolutely, it's so dumb because they have to follow this old playbook. But thank you for being out there, sending you all kinds of love. And thanks for continuing to share the reasons why you guys are there. I love the conversation you had with the pressure washer guy. They don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do with someone telling them. I mean, I started here on YouTube mid-December, and it's like, every time I talk about the compassion and all that, it like makes me want to cry. Happy tears. They don't know what to do with it.
Oh, I love you. Well, thank you, Natalie, and thank you, everyone, all of Natalie's mods. And I love you guys. I love chat. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, and make sure you're watching the streams tonight. You never know what's going to happen. Much love.
Absolutely. Talk to you later. Oh, I swear the compassion thing always gets me. It is such a big deal. It is such a big thing and a tool, because they're not used to it. They don't understand it, especially if they grew up in the Sea Org, grew up in Scientology. It doesn't exist, but it still makes an impact. I mean, look at me now. It still is. I've been out for 14 years and it still impacts me. So I know that it does them. It's just going to take some time. There's a lot of mind control. There's a lot of false ways of thinking that especially Sea Org members have ingrained into them, and Scientologists, but especially people in the Sea Org and people who are staff members in Scientology organizations. It's very strong, but little by little, it can change. Just persistence is key. Oh, excuse me, you guys. Okay, so let's see. I want to show you, we're going to get to Pearl Fest in just a minute, but I want to show you, let's see, where am I? I want to show you something that happened outside Pasadena. Tinker Mom was there and videoing a Scientologist. This is interesting. This guy's not a staff member. He is at Operating Thetan Level 8 is what was being said, but he's just across the street there, and he's handing out promotional items that nobody is taking. They want nothing to do with it. This, again, in Scientology would be considered like a senior Scientologist. This is actually kind of embarrassing. And usually, here's the interesting thing. You don't really see public Scientologists out there too much doing this unless they're in trouble. I don't know that this guy is in trouble, but usually if you see somebody up that high in Scientology doing something like that, it's because they're having to make up some amends because something happened. So, okay, so MD Media 18 is saying, yes, Tinker Mom, and yes, he is Richie Etrix. Oh, there was another Etrix who was, I wonder if that was his wife, if I'm saying that right. Me too, Brian. I feel sorry for the guy too. That's why I'm saying, like, he got in some kind of trouble. Now he has to be out there handing out. He's delivering his effective blow to the enemy of the group one has been pretending to be a part of despite personal danger. That is word for word part of what's called the liability formula, that Scientologists have to do all of these steps when they get in trouble to get back into the good graces of the group. Pause for Andrea. Great point. Who knew chalking is the most dangerous crime going on in LA? Police show up in 5 minutes for that. But an assault occurs. Oh, yeah, no. It takes multiple phone calls, and time passes. So let's see. Okay, before we get into Pearl Fest, let's jump over to Chicago, because you guys, Windy City Thetan is on fire out there. I'm going to show you a couple things. First, you need to see the new shirt that he has, because it's going to play into the next clip. It is relevant.
I want to kind of show you a little surprise.
You see that? Yawn if you are in a cult. And I don't know if do you guys remember the backstory on that? Because in Chicago, they started using yawn tech because L. Ron Hubbard said that there is an emotional tone scale. And then if you can be half a point to 1 point above where that person is, you can basically raise their vibration. And they see all the protesters as being antagonistic. And so boredom would be close to that. So that's why you'll see the yawning and the fake yawns. So he's out there wearing this shirt. Yawn if you're in a cult. And what happens? Check it out.
And if you look at their pages, hi Anastasia, how you doing today? Oh, look.
Did you see the yawn? It was real quick, but she does a little yawn for a mouthful.
You yawn. She yawned. She is in a cult.
You got to see that again. Watch for it.
And if you look at their pages, hi Anastasia, how you doing today?
See, the guy walks by and kind of blocks.
Oh, look, you yawned.
That was just hilarious. Yawn if you're in a cult. And then she breaks out the yawn tag. It's just next level. So there was another guy who is a Scientology staff member who was coming by, and he asked an interesting question of Windy City Thetan, which in my mind is like can open an entire can of worms. And as a Scientologist, that is the wrong question to be asking. He says, why are you against human rights?
I'm against human trafficking. It's not right to human traffic. Tell me what human rights you stand for. Is it okay that children have to audit adults who tell them perverse stories? That's human rights? Maybe you need to do some word clearing on human rights.
Creepy cult smile. Crazy thing about that is this Scientology has a front group called the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. And they go around promoting this Declaration of Human Rights that wasn't written by them. But they promote it is such a bait and switch. It was using that helped me get my daughter out of Scientology, helped break through some of that mind control. Was I told her, keep in mind what your experience was in Florida at Flag, when you were forced to stay up half the night, cleaning bathrooms, on your feet, punished for not making sales quotas, rice and beans, when selling wasn't even your job. You were there training. And then I read her some of the actual human rights, and they were blatant violations, and she connected the dots in that moment. This is another example of how in Scientology, many Scientologists don't recognize these things as abuse. It's discipline. It is not. They do not see it as abuse. It took me a while to see it as abuse. So they think they're actually doing things to prevent human rights abuses because they're told, oh no, these things are here, human rights abuses. Not what we're doing. No. Making people stay up 24/7. No. Child labor. No, none of that. Breaking up families, disconnecting people, breaking up marriages. No, that's all good. That's all cool. It is not cool. Not at all. Now we're going to go over and look at, I think this is in Kansas City, Osamat versus Xenu. This was outside at Kansas City, and I thought this was so great. Chalk tech at work. A lot of things were happening here.
Now, if any of that water touches me, that is assault. So you know.
So, have you stopped mocking up your own reactive mind yet? Because you know that's the clear cognition, right? You get a lot of auditing. Or do you fucking live all the time?
There's also a foundation that will help you blow if you need to.
Yep. There's a huge
Their number is 727-266-5797.
Hey there. Sorry about that. There's a whole support system out here for you guys.
And
Open
if you
arms.
don't,
We are here to help for when you're ready to leave.
I love that she shares the clear cognition there too. That's just a bonus there. Okay, so let's talk about Austin because there are all kinds of things going on there. I'm going to bring up Liz and hopefully Pearl Snappy is with her as well. I had a couple clips, but let's just hear it straight from them. Hey, Liz Ferris.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing good. So you guys have Pearl Fest going on in Austin. There are multiple people there from the community. You're there. Of course, Pearl Snappy, Selfless Self is there. Lori Plays and Feral Cheryl on the Loose from Clearwater came out there. I saw Degraded Daughters there as well. Tell us who else is there and what's happening.
So we have Laura FM. We've got a bunch of Never End showing up. Like the amount of hugs has been absolutely phenomenal. Like people are so kind, and it's like, you know, if I walk away to get some air or something, like I even tried to do therapy in front of the church yesterday. Like I thought it would be amazing because my therapist and I had set up an appointment. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit here with the view of everybody and right in front of their cameras. And I'm just going to have a therapy session. It'll help. Just trust me.
I love that. I love that. How'd it go?
The police showed up. So then instantly it turned into like this debauchery where they were like, oh, she sat on the building. And one of the Never Ends had sat on the building for a second. Like literally it was like 3 minutes. Like we'd been screaming all day. And she sits for 3 minutes and suddenly I think it was either 3 or 4 cop cars show up to tell her that she was sitting on the building. But here's the kicker. And this is where I'll let Pearl, she's out walking the dogs right now. But Pearl is going to have to explain to you that the police were basically insinuating that they were actually there for Pearl.
Wow. So that's why they came?
Yep.
So what ended up happening?
They ended up just giving the Never End basically a warning. Here's your warning. Don't show up. Blah, 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 blah. Don't sit on the building. He even came out shaking. Like, please don't sit on the building. And I'm like, man, maybe my stutter's from Scientology. Because that was all bad. There was no confronting that.
So the police come in pretty much nothing burger. They just gave a warning.
Yep. So they had the campus security there as well, which was deplorable for anybody that went to college. Like, don't you want to pay for that campus security to be protecting, I don't know, the students?
Yeah.
Like, I could be wrong. You know, I could have sworn that their job was to protect students. But, you know, cult members are just as good as students, right?
And I see multiple videos of you guys talking to two of the students who were stopping you and saying, hey, I was watching your stream and there was a kid on a bike who's like, hey, I've seen this on TikTok. What's happening? What can you tell me? And you let them know and you told them about your dad, your experience growing up in Scientology and the Sea Org. And that, I mean, that's just amazing. Have you been getting a lot of that while you've been there?
Yes, I will tell you the one that got to me the most. So two of the security guards that were walking the staff to their cars, one of them, and yes, they're doing a job. Let's be realistic, guys. This is a horrible economy. They're doing a job. They're being paid. They've got kids at home. There's no reason to go after them because they're doing the best that they can. They're making $47, more an hour than every other Sea Org member a week. So in the process of that, I just explained, like, this is what happens to the kids inside. And he came over and he's like, I didn't know. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I'm a med student and I'm just doing this to pay bills. And honestly, you know, I'm sorry you guys went through that. And I
Wow.
just hit him with kindness. And it was just, for me, that's just my approach. Because I remember being that kid that was getting screamed at. Now, as an adult, if you want to scream at me, totally fine. But as a kid, that's my no button. Like, I'm not going to scream at a kid.
Yeah.
Because that didn't change my mind when I was a kid. It scared me when I was a kid. Like, why do they hate me so much, Mom? Why do they hate me so much? I haven't done anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But now as an adult, I'm like, now you're all coffin dodgers. Like, now I was almost a coffin dodger. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And I just think that's hilarious.
What can people expect? We're all going to be watching your stream. So are you out there? Today is Saturday. Last night was Scientology graduation. What happens with Pearl Fest this weekend?
So far today, I think we're going to take a good day, a time for each other, a time to get to know the people that are still here, and just spend the day letting people get to know that we're, as much as we are on YouTube, we're still regular people. Like, I don't know about you, but you know, I eat with a fork and knife now, and I don't have to shovel, and I don't pick rice and beans for a very reason that I never want to have it. Yep, day off. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go
It's
see
funny.
some of Texas.
I actually still do I like rice and beans, but when I thought back, I thought, you know what? I was never put on rice and beans, but I had served it in the diet. Well, because I worked in the estate organization. You got to remember, I put myself as low as I could possibly go in terms of the chain of command because I knew that, you know, I knew the writing on the wall and what happened because I'd been around when I was training from Hawaii. I'd been around the Sea Org and all that for a couple of years by then, from the time I was 15. So when I went into the Sea Org, I was like, yeah, now I'm going to do this low level stuff and see if I can stay off the RPF.
Yeah, because let's be real, you know, it doesn't take much to get you on the RPF.
Yep, that's true. Well, we're going to be.
I will tell you, when you come to Texas, because we're predicting that you're going to come to Texas. I need you to go to Juice Land and order a Bam Bam. Like they have a drink named after my dog, Bam Bam, and it is probably it's the greenest thing ever. It makes me think I'm drinking grass, but it tastes so good. So if anybody's in Texas, just remember, it's literally Juice Land. Laura's getting us all eating healthy right now.
Laura does. That's funny. Well, I love seeing all of you together, and I'm glad that you guys are going to take some time and get to know each other and all of that good stuff. I'll be keeping an eye on your streams. Absolutely.
Yes. And thank you for all that you do. And in case you forgot, my Tony, I love you. You're an amazing human being. And thank you for loving our Natalie the way that you have.
Love you, Liz. Thank you for that. And I will talk to you again soon.
Yes, we'll talk soon. Love you.
Right. Love you. Oh, I just love seeing everybody together. I really do. Laura loves the juice. She likes the green juice. That's so funny because we just pulled our juicer out again. And I was thinking, should I try it again? Try some juicing again. All right, that was fantastic. So good to talk to DOA and also Liz. Now, I want to share with you guys, I don't know if you know this, but Kelly Copter was at Scientology London out there with that fabulous microphone that I love so much, She had that when we were in Clearwater. She's out there protesting. Let's take a little peek here.
Booyah.
I did. Art. It's art.
It is art.
No,
100%. Look how much opportunity there is down here for chalk, though. So much.
That is true.
It's not happening today because I think we will get arrested. Bev's playlist says hello.
Done it.
You think? I don't know.
It's not the cleanest street in the world.
Oh, no, definitely isn't.
What's so cool is she has this conversation with a Scientologist. I'm just going to share a clip, but you guys got to watch the whole video. Link down below.
Do you know my parents are Scientologists? My dad was an OT5. He was. And we were at the Manchester org, spent some time in Flag. I went to Greenfield School. Genuinely. I was 6 years old, and one of the sect checkers declared me a suppressive person as a 6-year-old. Can you believe it? Well, it happened. It's so out tech, right? Crazy. But guess what? It's happening all over the world, ma'am. It really is. We're not here because we hate you. We have no issues with the staff. We know you guys are working your asses off in there. We do.
It's not personal.
We do. But what's going on, upper management, it's really wrong. My parents, Dawn and Peter Greenhouse. Maybe you don't remember them.
I was up there just for a short while in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's not.
So when you get a chance, go check out the link down below and watch the full video because it is good. It is it's a really good live there. Kelly, I always forget with the time difference. It's probably end of day there now. But that was fantastic. You got to see it. You got to see it. All right, we're going to grab some questions here and comments. Let's see. We did that one. We did that one. We did that one. Oh, maybe I'm more on top of it than I think I am. Free Xeno Project. Thank you for that. It's getting like that in Chicago. They come out in minutes for chalk, but assault on protesters, and it takes hours. So it sounds like you're referring to the police. And that's interesting that is also happening in Chicago. We got to keep an eye on that. Sandra OT420, thank you for that. It makes us more angry and fired up. F Sciento. Yeah, these failed intimidation tactics. It's just going to continue to bring people together and make more people aware of the abuses in Scientology. Any type of protest outside of Scientology, even. That's what happens because it's uncomfortable and things happen like these clashes and these incidents. The difference is Scientology is the one sending these goons out. That's kind of the thing. They're creating a lot of it. The Diane Marie, thank you so much for that. Just send you an email with a link to the Attacker on Scientology website. He works for them. Thank you for doing that. We will check that out. Jennifer, isn't CLO where OSA lives? That's the Continental Liaison Office. Physically, is there offices in there? I don't know. But in the Scientology organizing board, let's see, Continental Liaison Office, I think it has a section for Office of Special Affairs, but here's the thing. The Office of Special Affairs operates separate, if that makes sense, almost as their own entity, separate from the organization. Even in smaller organizations, there's a director of special affairs. They're part of it, but kind of separate, if that makes sense. They deal directly with seniors in OSA. And if somebody can explain that a little bit more eloquently than I did, throw it up in the chat or the comments there. Dina, thank you so much for that. Also remember that the entire group is run by a person who's never lived in the real world or even gotten a high school education. That's correct. David Miscavige, I believe he joined the Sea organization as a young teenager. And he did not continue his education beyond that. Many of us didn't. I dropped out of high school when I was 15 to work for Scientology. And the first thing I did when I left Scientology was not go to Disneyland. I went back to school and got my GED. Very common. Malta McMurchie, thank you so much for that. Please like the stream. Let's make my Tony proud. Thank you. Thank you. Crystal Glitter, hip, hip, hooray. Thank you for becoming a member. Love that. Hutton. Thank you so much for that. Church of Goofyology. You guys just cracking me up today. Thank you so much, Sandra OT420. Parking tickets for days. Carrie C, hip, hip, hooray. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel as well. And I think I missed a link from Fluffer Squirrel. But Nancy, I don't know which link exactly, but I'm sure we will go back and find it. Oh, I know what she's telling me. Thank you, Nancy. I just realized I wanted to share. We talked about this yesterday here. Fluffer Squirrel made this amazing painting that I love that she said was inspired by Tony and I. Do you guys remember when I was in Clearwater, I shared, I don't remember if it was a photo or a video, but Tony and I were swinging on swings in Aaron's backyard and just having a great time. And I absolutely love this. I love it so much. But I wanted to share that. I told you guys yesterday that I would. You love it too, Kelly? Yes. Yes, me too. Absolutely love it. Jennifer Marie Joyce, hip hip hooray. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate that support. You guys are just Kim is blue, swing tech. Yes, it was so much fun. And yes, Daisy, I agree. That's such a beautiful painting. I love it so much. Love it so much. All right. I think we got most things going here, and we are a little bit over an hour, so we are going to wrap it up. Please be sure to hit that like button, everybody. That is your homework. Make sure you hit the like button before you head out. Nancy, is anybody live? And make sure you check your subscribe button as well and hit that. And it's a good idea to hit that notification bell if you can. I'm working on getting some interviews scheduled. There's just some people I've been dying to talk to. I don't think I will ever run out because there's just so many interesting stories in and around this community with people, whether they're ex-Scientologists, ex-Sea Org members, or people who've never been in Scientology, but all in on bringing this cult down. And I absolutely love it. Let's check SPTV space. I know Nancy's probably checking too. It looks like Nancy. Did you find one? I think that I know Jay's out there. So maybe we do that. Everybody who's staying online, head over to Denver Scientology Audit. I'm going to pull up his channel. I'm sure you guys know it. Let's take a look here and let's go do a Natalie raid. It's nice when we're a little later in the morning and people are still live. So there that is. He is there in Los Angeles. Boom, right there. Everybody head over to Jay's and say hi. Let's do a good raid and show him lots of love there. I'm going back here. Yeah, and stay tuned for Pearlfest is continuing too. Kim is blue. Reese has a standing invitation. She was one of the first people I invited to come on the channel. So she can come on anytime. Neuropsych, yep. I'm catching up on that jet lag. It has been something, let me tell you. Coming back is always difficult because of the time difference and it takes so long, but then you, on top of it, you go forward 5 hours. But the funny thing is, it's like, it's hard. You can't complain because what am I going to say? Oh, I'm so tired because I was in Hawaii for a week. No, but I am. I'm drinking my water. I'm going to, take some extra vitamins, really boost that immune system too. I'm all distracted, like watching Jay. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Go over and show Jay some love over at Denver Scientology Audit. I'm going to be back here again. I'm not sure if I'm doing anything else today. You never know, which is why you got to hit that notification bell. But for sure, tomorrow, which is Mother's Day, we're going to be doing the Scientology News Recap at 10 a.m. Central Time. So keep an eye out for that. I'll get a notification out. In the meantime, you guys know the drill. Just get out there and have the most amazing cult-free day.